another day. I prayed soon as I woke, never thought I'd be the victim of a paralyzing stroke. Could be you. I woke up at 5:20 just to start my day to day. On this morning I'm feeling different, damn, feeling some kind of way. I got my coffee, then got my daughter ready, headed out the door. Things seem a little different, I gotta head it there for sure. So I'm off to the babysitter, Miss Mimi is the mom. As I'm leaving, she was asking, was there something going on?
What's up, boys and girls? How you guys doing? It's been a long time that we haven't spoken to each other, but we are back with another season of Death Taught Us How to Live. Can you believe it's been 6 seasons? Wow. Okay, let's get over ourselves and let's get to the subject at hand. Today, we're going to change the subject or change the tune just a little bit. I want to start off Stroke Awareness Month that's starting tomorrow, May, with a couple of projects that I'm working with. One is the show, Death Taught Us How to Live. This is season 6. I have about 20 guests for this particular season. So if you are interested, because I got 26 slots, I got a couple more slots left. So if you are interested to be on this show at this exact time, on this exact day, please feel free to hit me up at my email at avm@avmsuperhero.com. Or you can, whatever you're seeing this at, just leave a message or a direct message within that particular platform, and we'll get back in touch with you. But we're also doing something pretty interesting as well, too. I have teamed up with my daughters, and we have created an organization to help out people that was in our situation. And the situation was that I had a stroke at the age of 41, and I had 2 daughters that was pre-teenagers, and they had to go through the adjustment of life. So we was being, I guess, the guinea pigs in this situation, trying to figure out how things are. Hey, Donna Dunkley, how you doing? Good evening to you. Thank you for having us back. So we was experimenting with this, and there was a lot of things going on. Me and their mothers went through a divorce. I was going through stroke recovery, and they was trying to become women at the same time. So it was very difficult, and we didn't have blueprints for it. So we came up with this concept called perception versus reality, and it's a thing that's going to be coming out next month as well too. And you can sign up at AVMSUPERHERO.com and get on the waiting list, because we open up on May 4th, next Monday. So if you want to know how to navigate this particular world as a father, as a mother, or even a child that's dealing with a parent that has a stroke or a brain injury, and you're trying to figure out what's going on because there's a lot of things going on and nobody's talking about, this particular course is what we created that can help you guys out. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring in one of my daughters on to talk about how life was and as to this particular concept that we're coming up with, and why is it so important for people to understand how to navigate this after a stroke injury. So without any further ado, I'm going to give you my daughter, Shauna. Hello, baby girl.
Hey,
How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing great.
Cool. All right. So right now you're 20 years old, right? And the stroke happened when you was what, 11, 10?
I guess so.
And then your life was turned upside down, and nobody really explained to you what was going to happen next, right? And you just had to figure it out and go from there. Can you talk about that particular part and why it's so important for our course that we're building up to help people out? Just give us a little bit of what you went through and what you think other people are going through and how we can help them out.
Well, my personal experience with being a child who had a parent have a stroke, I think it was different from others. I kind of felt a little numb to it. I haven't really processed it as much as I feel like a lot of people would, but that's a good reason why we're making, what we're making right now, and we're making these courses to help people understand what they're going through, whether they're a stroke survivor or just someone who's affected, whether that be family or a family member or a friend, just all those other possibilities. So it's good to have these resources that we are making in order to help people process this certain traumatic event in someone's life.
Okay, baby. Thank you so much. And Colleen, good evening to you as who. Um, thank you for saying that, Shauna, because I think a lot of us, and I'm coming outside of you, I'm talking about stroke survivor. I think a lot of us don't understand the gravity of what happens to other people around us, especially our children, and we just think about ourselves. I know for me, um, I know that I was very selfish. I would say certain things or do certain things that was contrary to what you needed to do or needed from a parent, and I didn't know any difference. And I don't think anybody was navigating you guys to tell you that your dad is here, and in order for you to have a communication with him, you need to get here. So one of the things that I could just remember from what you have done for me, um, that you involved me in your life. You used to play tennis and you want me to help you play tennis. I didn't even know a thing about tennis, but you will still listen to me and want to go practice with me. So that made me feel like I was a viable person in society. Can you speak on that as more of like why you made it your business to make sure you included me and not make me feel like I was an outsider to you?
Well, honestly, it was mainly because Maul didn't come to the practices, but hey, I mean, I guess I included you because it was just nice to have someone who was into sports per se and someone who understood sports and was willing to learn about it. So I just appreciative on that end.
And I absolutely appreciate you for that. And yes, I did play a lot of sports when I was growing up, and I felt like my life was over. But it was something interesting that you did, and I don't know if you was trying to be slick or you just your mind just worked on a different level. I think it was like your 13th birthday, and you wanted your mom and me and your sister to play tennis with you for your birthday. And I'm like, I can't move up and down the court, but you was like, come on, Dad, we can do it. And by you just saying that motivated me to get up, just put a racket in my hand and try my best to actually help you out in your birthday. So I don't know if you realized what you was doing with that. Maybe you did. I don't know. But it really motivated me to get stronger. So I appreciate you on that.
No problemo.
You did any answer. So did you know or did you just did it?
Um, I mean, I just did it. I just wanted people to be around me on my birthday. I wanted to beat you on my birthday.
You wanted to beat me? That was the whole thing?
I wanted to beat my family members. That was the main reason, but
Yeah, you sure did have me on your team. That was crazy.
mhm.
That's okay. Okay. I get that. I get that. I get that. So let's dive into a little bit more because I'm gonna bring up some of the things that we have in this course. I'll put them on the screen, but I want to know like what advice do you have for a child growing up with one of their parents going through a stroke that you wish you'd known that um, those days instead of you had to go through the hard way. Which what kind of information would you give to someone right now that they need to make sure they have?
The main advice I could give is just patience, is mainly taking your time and also be willing to learn and understand them in a different light. Because, of course, after the stroke, they have changed and they're trying to come into their new person as well. So you also have to adapt and change the way that you used to know them, the way you used to um, talk to them and deal with them, I guess.
No, and I completely get that. And I think a lot of people don't understand that concept. And it's pretty interesting as a young woman that you understood that. When you say patience, um, can you give me an example of something that I did that you was like, if you didn't have patience, it would probably throw you off the wall. But since you had patience, you was knowing how to deal with it, and you knew sooner or later I will change and come around. Give us an example so if someone's watching it, they can know that to do that with their parent.
Mainly, an example is that you're not as, I'll say, faster. I don't want to be rude, but you're not as faster. And as me, someone who, I can get around, able body, I can move around. I try to move at a different pace and I try to do things in a faster way. But that's why I say patience. So there's this one time, I can't remember exactly, but let's just say we were walking and I was just trying to like go ahead of you and I was trying to get to this thing and like be there like quickly, like immediately. But then I had to slow down and realize that you don't have that same pace that you used to. So I had to go back and be like, hey, I have to bring myself down and, be patient with him and also take time out of what I usually do and to accommodate you as well.
That's a great example, Shauna. And I really, from the other side of it, we want to be around you guys and we just don't want to slow you down. So if it seems like we're slowing you down, then we're going to have a mental issue. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to take myself out of it and get depressed. But by you saying, you know what? I just need to slow myself down because I want to be around my parent, that changes the whole dynamic for our recovery. So yeah, that is a great example. I really appreciate that. All right. So Shauna, what we have come up with, and I want to show people, is what is called the perception versus reality. And I want to see if I can bring my website on. So give me a second while I see if I could load our website and go from there. Give me 1 second. Oh, matter of fact, Shauna, can you give us another example of another thing that you want younger people to understand when they're dealing with a stroke survived parent while I look this up?
Another example, let me think. Kind of just piggybacking off what I said, it's just be open to change, be open to things not being as they used to be, and be open to making, just different possibilities or different outcomes in the future because things have obviously changed in the situation. So just be prepared for dynamics to shift and don't be stuck on the past, if that makes sense. Don't be stuck on what it used to be, but focus on what it should be or what it's going to be.
Excellent. That's an excellent segue. Don't think about the past, think about the future. That thinks about what one of the things that we created is called co-reactive beams. When a person has a stroke, everything goes away, and we want to go back to the past, like, oh, I can walk again. I used to be able to be a dance. I used to be able to do a fight. I used to be able to be a cook, but now I'm not that, so my life is over. So we don't really focus on that particular part of what we lost. We look at what we still have. Just like if a house is burnt down, an engineer is going to come and look at the house and like, okay, what is still remaining that we can use to rebuild the house? So that's the same concept that Shauna just brought up. What can we use that is still here and we can cherish that? Have a funeral for the other part, and we talk about that in the course as well. But let's move from here on out because what's happened in the past, we can't get that back. All right, so I got our website queued up, so I'm gonna bring that up, Shauna. 1 second. All right, here's our screen. Can everybody see the screen? I know it might look small because of where we are, but this is the screen that we have right now. I will play our little video that we have.
This chair, to the world, is just a place to sit. But to those of us who have survived a stroke or brain trauma, it is a monument to the silence. It is the place where our old lives stopped and the world kept moving without us. In 2017, I found myself in a chair just like this. For me, it was an AVM. This is the dilemma. We feel stuck here, physically or mentally. We start to believe the walls are what keep us prisoners. But the real dilemma is the belief that our story ended when our bodies changed. I live in Panama now. I move slower, but I'm finally free because I saw the dilemma. Your mind can go anywhere, even if your body won't. You can build empires and find peace from exactly where you are sitting. The chair is only a prison if you let it.
Here we go.
I am a hero just like you. Death taught me how to live. I'm building the vanguard to show you the way out of the dilemma. Join the unit. Let's get to work. AVM Superhero out.
So this is the webpage that we actually have. Shauna, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
This is our webpage. It just talks about who we are and what we have created. This is a family-owned business. It's being done by me and my two daughters, Kyra and Shauna. We are the owners of the actual business. And what we're trying to do is let people know that they're not alone. And even though it's looking like everything is completely not there for you, you have it. So this is our website. It's called avmsuperhero.com. When you get to it, you have the Vanguard is forming. And then if you want to be part of the Vanguard, this will change on Monday. It won't say join the Vanguard. It will say something else because this is the waiting list, but it shows you the course that we actually have. Here's the outline of what you will be learning. The funeral of the normal, how we break down the funeral is Shauna was just talking about. You can't be dealing with the past. We have to put that part aside because no matter what we do, that is not coming back. You know, when you was 18, when you was 17, when you was 15 years old, you probably would be able to jump up and down, lift 150 pounds with one arm, whatever. But those days are not coming back. So the same thing that we have to think about when you have a stroke, those things are gone. What we going to do from there? We have to have that funeral to let that old person die and cherish the new person that we are in right now. So that's the first part. Then the second part is the battlefield triage, understanding our energy bank. And I have all these different things I want to show you as well too. So we've made up an energy bank that you can actually count what you actually have done through the day. So let's say you have 80% energy and you say, you know, just talking on the phone takes up 10% of your energy. So you could calculate how much energy you're going to take throughout the day. And if you realize by midday that you're worn out, well, you could find a way to slow things down and recalculate how you form your next day. Then you have what's called the structural audit. This is what I was talking about, the core reactor beams. This is to find out, you know, what is still remaining. You know, you might have been a chef before. You can't move your arm no more, but you still have great creative ideas that you can help other people out. You know, how can you actually use those core reactor beams to be the next person that you want to be? Then we have what's called rewiring the mech. Inside of here, we do some neural hacking, the minimum valuable day, how we track our days, what is the most valuable things for us and how we can actually move from there. Level 5, we have building the league, you know, building your friends and how to talk with people. This is very important, especially when you're dealing with people that don't know how to handle you or talk with you. So they talk down to you. How do you handle that? So we have what's called the pity script. And then last thing we have before we go off to our lives, we will have what's called mission command. We're transforming from being that patient to being a superhero because this whole thing is based off of being the AVM superhero. How can you transform from being a stroke survivor to living your life and being independent? So the last part is actually launching yourself to that next phase in your life. So, Shauna, there's a lot that we have done, Shauna. There's a lot that we have trying to accomplish. And I think this is just the first phase of it. Like I said, by Monday, we will be handing this out. And if you want to be part of this, right now, the cost of this course is $200. But for the first month, we're giving a 15% discount for the people that's on the waiting list. So if you get on the waiting list, you get 15% off. And if you are not on the waiting list after the first, you'll get 10% off for the first week of May. So make sure that you sign up now. The website is AVM Superhero. We'll put that on the screen just in case you guys do not have it. Give me 1 second while we put that on the screen. So, Shauna, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think that this is something that's valuable for people out there, or do you think people don't necessarily need this type of thing?
I think this is a very viable, full of information type of resource that people in this day and age kind of crave. It gives people the opportunity to improve themselves and to not only improve themselves but improve their mind, their body, all that other stuff. So I think this is a very good opportunity for people, especially in this community.
Yeah, because the whole thought process of it, Shauna, is when I came to you guys, I was like, you know what, nobody was there for me. I was completely alone, and I don't think I said this to you, but I said it to your older sister. I said I wish she was older so I could have conversations with her because you guys were very young, and I didn't have nobody else there to understand me. It was just us four. And when I divorced your mother, or when we got divorced, it was just me. And then I had two people that was young that didn't understand what's going on with life. So I had nobody there. So I came to you guys and said, hey, we need to do this for the people that was in our situation so they can understand what to do from there. So everybody, you will get the manual of the second act. This will talk about all the different things that we have in each one of our lessons. All of our 18 lessons will be inside of here. This is all online. Then they will have different tools that you will have inside of here. You have your structural audit. That's a daily use of what you want to do for each and every day, as in how you protect yourself. We have a shield as well. I printed them all out, but they will be available to you online 24 hours a day, and you can work at your own speed. You have your MVD, your minimum valuable day. And my personal favorite is the pity script. What is the pity script? I want to talk about a little bit about that, Shauna. This has nothing to do with you, but it has to do with people that's dealing with me. And I don't know if you have noticed, but there's a lot of people in my life that I had before that I don't deal with anymore because they don't know how to communicate with me. And I find this to be very prevalent in our community, that people don't know how to speak to stroke survivors. One of the things they'll say, well, you don't look like you're a stroke survivor, or your stroke is over. You just want to blame it on the stroke, and you think that's your excuse. What people don't realize how detrimental a stroke is actually brain damage. And you're talking to a person, even though they might look good, they might sound good, this person has brain damage and they're trying to process things. So a lot of things they cannot do. So when you say to a stroke survivor, don't you remember I said that to you yesterday? And the stroke survivor is looking at you and like, I don't remember. Why are you yelling at me? So, you have in the pity script. So we have made up a certain type of language so we can tell people, say, hey, even before you start, because I do this with a lot of people that I know is very argumentative. I just start off my conversation with them like, hey, I know if you want to have a conversation with me, but if you want to have a conversation with me, A, B, C, D. And that's what that pity script is about. It tells them exactly how you want to have a conversation with me. And if you don't want to have it that way, kick rocks. So, Shauna, what I want to do, and I don't know how passionate are you about this, but I want to morph what we're doing now into another phase after the course is given out. I don't know how you feel about this, you and your sister, to do counseling to other children that is children of stroke survivors, and we could incorporate that inside of our AVM Superhero website. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think you can handle something like that?
Counseling, I'm sorry?
Yeah, counseling. She heard me.
Counseling to other
people that was in the same situation that you were in.
I think Kai would be the best opportunity for that.
I think both of y'all would be the best because you guys got both perspectives. Don't be coy.
Well, it's an interesting opportunity.
It's more about, Shauna. It's not necessarily you are being the head or teacher of it, but you're in a very unique situation. And I'm just gonna put it like this: how many of your friends that you had in high school and in college had one of their parents had a stroke?
None that I know of.
Right. So you was in a situation that you had your father. It was the only one that was working at the time. And all of a sudden he just stopped working. and then he's not the father anymore. He's acting a little bit funny. He's acting a little bit strange, and now you have to deal with that. Either however you dealt with it, you dealt with it. However your sister dealt with, you guys dealt with. So you guys have your own experiences, and there's a lot of kids that going through this and they're completely lost. And me as a parent, as a stroke survivor, I would love to have someone talk to my children, because the first thing I thought about is like, damn, my daughters don't have any men in their life to teach them how a man is supposed to treat a woman. I was so desperate to find that. I don't know if you guys did or not, but that was keeping me up each and every day. So having someone to be like a counselor, like a big sister or big brother, whatever, to other people, I think is very valuable. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's an interesting proposition. And I just don't think I'm the best person to give that type of advice though. But
Really?
no, I don't think so. But like I said, Kyra's in the chat. She said that she's very willing. Wait, let me read the comment. She said, I'm very willing to take up that opportunity. So I think Kyra would probably be the best option for that. But I do think it's interesting. But I just don't think I'm the best person for that. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, I hear you, but the reason why I'm bringing that up because of you, because I know you, and I know Kyra. Obviously, you're my children, and certain things that Kyra do, I appreciate and I love, and the same thing with you, but you guys do things totally different. You don't, and I guess you don't like, neither one of you guys like the spotlight, but when it happened to me, I know what you did for me. I used to have to take warfarin shots in my stomach, and nobody wanted to do it, but my 11-year-old daughter was every day coming there, wanted giving me my shots. You know, you wanted to do the dirty work. You wanted to clean my feeding tube. You wanted to do that stuff. So even though you might not want to be in a spotlight, it seems like you have a knack for things like that. I don't know why. I didn't have to fight you or beg you. You just wanted to do it. And you saying that you don't want to help other people, I don't get that. That don't make no sense to me.
I just don't think I'm the best person to do that. I don't know. I feel like Kyra's more.
I think both of you guys are.
Well, I'm defeated. I guess you're right.
Look at you. Oh, you don't fight, huh? You just say, okay, whatever. I like that. All right. So Shauna, what do you want people to understand going forward with our new venture of Team AVM Superhero? And I'm gonna leave this little caveat with you guys, and I want you to build off of that. When I had my stroke, I had it all planned out for my daughters to have a certain amount of money to go to college, certain amount of things, have a house and things like that. And when my stroke happened, all that plans went to waste. I had $500,000 worth of medical bills. I had to figure out how to get that paid off. A lot of it was negotiated with my ex-wife. She got most of it taken away and things of that nature, but I didn't have the money anymore. And there's a Bible scripture, I believe it's Proverbs 28. It says, a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children. And that used to stick with me a lot because I didn't know how to leave anything for you guys. And I believe when I left my house or left the house, I gave you my college diploma. I said, this is all I got. You know, take it and do what you have to do with it. But I felt like I was robbing you guys. So when the opportunity came that we can build this up, I was like, you know, even when I pass away, this information that we have, this viable information that we have, this foundation that we are creating, it's going to outlast me, and I could give it to you so you guys can give it to your children and they can actually build off of that as well. So with that being in mind, Shauna, what does that mean to you, and how do you feel like you guys can actually take this and take it to the next level?
Well, I feel like the most important thing to leave as a legacy is knowledge. Way more important than wealth, but to be knowledgeable and to know how this world works is probably the most beneficial thing to have. So it means a lot that you're not only just setting up the foundations for us to not only have this this opportunity in this different field. That's also important. I think it helps us along the way, like you said, with the leaving something for your children's. Yes, I'm done.
Now I got it. So who's this time free 8080? You did not.
That's
Nah.
Kyra.
Yeah, I can figure that's my other daughter. Dang, throwing twin under the bus. It's crazy. Okay. You see how she didn't even want to come on, but she wants to just put all these comments on here.
Exactly.
So
Fan.
once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a family-run thing. It's my daughters are actually the owners or the CEOs of this, and they actually run the management of the day-to-day operation of this. I am just the talent that have the experience of being a stroke survivor, but they are taking this information and distribute it to you guys so you guys can take it and have a better, prosperous life. I hear so many people talk to me and say, "Man, life is over. Life sucks. Um, I don't know what I'm going to do." And I don't, I understand that because you don't see the other side. But what we're showing you is the other side. There was times that and I'm not trying to throw you guys underneath the bus, but there was time during COVID that I had the apartment and you guys didn't want to come back to my apartment because I was doing certain things. And, and that's completely fine because it was things I was growing and you guys were growing. But we got through. We got past that. We transformed our life to understand what's going on with each other and how to actually respect each other. But if I could take that all back, I wish I wish that didn't happen. But on the same token, there was nobody there to give me that information to say how to handle that information, how to handle those situations. That's what this is for. We are giving you all those different nooks and crannies that you don't get at the hospital. You don't get when you get home. Nobody counsels you. Nobody counsels your children. Did anybody in your school as counsel you, Shauna, about how to deal with a stroke survivor parent?
No.
So you guys had to figure this all out on your own. So that's what this is all about, how to get through those particular times. I cannot imagine what it was for you and your sister to go through this, to see how much this thing destroyed our lives. And it was no fault to you, it was no fault to me, it was no fault to your mother, but it destroyed our lives and you guys had to deal with it. And nobody had any comfort or any way to talk to you guys about it. That's why it's so important that this gets out there for stroke survivors so they can live a better life and stop being so depressed. I think that's the major part that people as stroke survivors don't understand. Because with me, I'm gonna tell you guys, and my daughter could attest to this, it was bad. It was bad. It was a lot of bad times. As I said bad things about their mother, and I had to think about it like, dang, I'm saying this to children, and they don't understand what I'm actually saying. They just know that I'm talking about their mother, and I can't take that back. But they have those memories. So that was one thing that was bad. Another thing was bad that I didn't understand who I was. I wasn't confident in myself, and I didn't know how to be a father to my daughters. I was trying to be their friends. That didn't work. My daughter, you, Shauna, cussed me out one time. Yes, I tried to take your phone from you. You cussed me out. But it was interesting for me because I looked at you. I'm like, okay, you cussed me out. You're not making much sense to me, but you stood up for yourself. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to say, oh, my daughter could stand up for herself. And that's cool. Even though it's standing up to me. And then your other sister, you guys used to fight all the time when you was younger. I was like, hey, no matter what's happening between anything in this world, I need you two to stick up with each other. And sure enough, when me and you was going at it, your sister was sticking up for you. I was like, man, I can't ask for anything more. If I pass today, I know these two are going to stick together. So these are the things that, there's so much disconnects, but there's a way to get through it. So that's all I'm saying to you now, everybody that's watching and listening. There's a way to get through it. You just have to be patient, like Shauna said. You have to Stop having pity on yourself. Stop dealing with people that have pity on you, because we don't want pity. We want to find a way to get to the next level. And all we need to do is have people around us that's going to be patient, that's going to listen to us and not fight us. So that's just what all this is all about. Shauna, I thank you so much for coming on tonight and sharing our business with people. Once again, we are Team AVM Superhero, LLC. Our website is avmsuperhero.com. If you are interested into getting our course, the second act is Perception versus Reality. It goes live May 4th. Get on the waiting list now at avmsuperhero.com. The course is $200. If you are on the waiting list before May 4th, you get 15% off. If you sign up after the 4th, and to the end of that week, it's 10% off. So please check it out. It's there for you. And let us know if you have any questions. And the discount code for you, like I said, it's going to expire at the end of next week, is DTUHTL. Deaf Taught Us How to Live, the acronym for that. So DTUHTL. All right, everybody. Shauna, anything you want to leave with us?
Check out the website. Check out, get in that waiting list, guys. I love 50%. It's better than 10%.
Whoa. Don't say 50. I said 15.
That's 15.
Okay.
I
Make
love
sure.
15%. It's better than 10%. That's a deal to me. So go check it out.
Love you, little mamas. Have a great day.
Bye.
Everybody, AVM Superhero out.